I went live, but there's no audio yet.
Mhm.
So. I want to put it in the Plainfield pages, but the Plainfield residents page, they don't.
Run just slow second.
Right, but you put in a live video there, they immediately.
Yeah, they knock it down.
So I'm gonna actually put just in it, and I'll put the link in comments.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Oh boy.
I can see this turning into a future. Just lie down here with interview you.
Yeah. Go call him Dr. Mike. Yeah. Off that Eastern Bank up your area, Eastern down here's been
Boy,
packed.
what a mess. The Ascend Bank.
Yeah.
It's a mess. They offer certain products and they can't even get them to run. We're having a problem with our cards, utilizing our cards.
Yeah.
Thank God, money's money, but it's tough. I see it lined up out the door all the time.
Oh yeah. I went down there the other day because I was able to get into all my accounts and everything else. The only problem is that we're missing one debit card. So I went down and I said, okay, just print it off and I'll come back and get it the next day. I went down there yesterday morning. Of course, the line was there again. They didn't print the goddamn thing. Okay. And then I had to go wait with the duplicate. But then the guy went to print. He couldn't print the goddamn thing. So finally I got it. So my stuff is.
Yeah, my wife takes care of it all day. All day. Still hasn't got it right. I went down myself to the site because I have at work I keep on throwing change in the bucket. So I was going to go over to the using machine. Down.
Oh boy.
I know that most of the people that used to work at our site left. Sheila went down here.
Oh.
Good person. But and a lot of the other managers and other employees left to go to the banks before this all.
You get the send the transition.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the pack everything with one year really difficult. Yeah.
It's always hard.
Oh, absolutely.
There's always going to be bugs. There's always going to be transition problems.
Same thing with our people. Well, when we're going to go on to the EP, and we're going to be
Actually, I was pretty lucky. All my stuff was there. I was able to log in. Like I said, I didn't really probably get through.
I was basically told don't activate your debit card until the second.
Correct. Yeah, so they want to do it.
Hold on. Don't say that. Not that you said anything.
Like I said, I don't think there were a lot of people doing it.
Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing.
There you go.
You ready? And good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome on in to the show this morning. We doing, it's political season, right? So it's time to go ahead and start talking about things like that. So I'm going to talk to current first selectman on the town of Plainfield, Kevin Cunningham. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
So just so everybody knows, there's a disclaimer, on the bottom of the screen. I just want to check audio again. It's time to go ahead and start talking about things like that. So talk to make sure your microphone.
Absolutely.
All right, good. Here we go. So I do want to announce that we did offer Paul Sweet an opportunity to come as well. He declined. That is just so everybody knows. It's on the screen below. It's on the video description. There's no question. That Paul Sweet was invited, and he declined. So anyway, Kevin, weird cycle this time around, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What happened? So, you're running.
Yes.
You're the incumbent for the first selectman job.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, you do not get the Republican nomination. What happened?
Well,
Or endorsement.
The last few months of the RTC, we had openings. We can go up to 50 people in Plainfield for the RTC for membership. We had about 34. I think that's what the number was at the time. I brought up a list of names to see if we can get more people on board. A few of them were added. And then the next few months, they were adding more and more people. And it seems as though that the people that they were adding were a certain alignment. And therefore, when it came to vote for the endorsement, it was a 25 to 23. And I did not get the endorsement.
So it was very close.
Yeah.
Okay. So and the endorsement went to Paul Sweet.
Correct.
Who is obviously the Republican endorsed candidate.
Sounds funny to say that word Republican, right? For Paul.
Well, he used to be a Democrat, and
over 50 years.
Yeah, how long?
Over 50.
Okay, and he's gone ahead and he's changed parties.
Yes, but something else I want to mention about that. He
now I don't want to get into anything with Paul Sweet that he can't. You know what I mean? So
he can answer to it, but he came in a little late, so he cannot vote in the primary.
Oh, okay, all right. When is the early voting's going on right now?
Early voting's going on in all towns right now for any town that has a primary. Then there's the September 9th is going to be in our town is going to be September 9th from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I think it's pretty standard around the state.
Yeah.
We have to have just so people know, and want to make sure people understand, there's two voting places. One in Moosup, which is our static one, we usually have at the Moosup Firehouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. The one at the town hall, though, is not. And the reason is we're having a project that we thought would be completed already. Unfortunately, there's some delays. So as we speak right now, the front entranceway to the town hall has a project for a new ADA compliant ramp, which is not complete. Therefore, you can't get in that way. Mm-hmm. So for early voting, we're doing a couple of things. You have to have early voting done at the town hall, number one. So if you need to get up for early voting, you can go inside. If you have a problem getting inside because of you can't go up the stairs, we actually have it outside on a sandwich board or on a sign saying, please call if you need assistance, and they'll walk out and help you to vote right there. So that's the process. So that's what we're doing now. And when it comes to September 9th, the unfortunate part is we're not going to be done for that ramp. So we're going to be holding, instead of the town hall, it now swaps over to the senior center. So that information is online as well, but you can go to the senior center to do your voting on the September 9th.
So now, are there going to be two locations too? Still the Moosup Firehouse and everything?
Yep, as we usually do. It'll be September 9th, either at senior center for those people who normally vote at the town hall, and the same one would be for Moose Up. It's the same place to go to, which is the firehouse.
Okay. If anybody has any questions for Mr. Cunningham, as long as they're respectful, we're not here to jab at it, at anybody. If you have a question, put it in the chat, and I'll certainly relay it on to Kevin. So, is it weird to you? I mean, do you find it strange?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you have felt that you have done a sufficient job for the town of Plainfield.
That would be very correct.
All right. So how does this make you feel as a candidate?
Well, the reason why you also go to a primary is because you don't feel that you have the full view from, in my case, the Republicans of the town of Plainfield. So that's why you would go out and you would do that, which is fine. That's the process. You follow the process. And by the way, this is not my first primary.
Mm-hmm.
Many years ago, when I was a Democrat, I ran a primary against the then incumbent first selectman, Don Gladding, and I won that. Then we go to another one, which was Republican primary against another opponent, and won that one. And so this is my third time.
Starts with a V?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you heard.
Of course, yeah. You're talking about Vicky.
Yes.
Who was passed away recently.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the process you go through, and I would anticipate that the public is Republicans in town of Plainfield that will be able to vote would be able to be part of that process. So I'm fine with that. I think that's the way to do it.
Paul, do you have any questions for or any comments up to date that we have right now with Kevin?
I mean, from our perspective, we've always thought you've done a good job. Actually, some of us here have actually gone up and actually spoken to you on how you run things up here.
Absolutely.
Especially when it came to, things that they did that we didn't do. We went up and asked them.
Yeah.
Grant writer, especially, we went up and spoke to you about. So.
Yeah.
And then, who do you mean we?
Well, there was a group of us that went up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different residents from Griswold have asked me some questions before.
Right. Gotcha.
And I have no problem sharing the information because it only strengthens the region when you do things like that.
Yeah.
And it limits the takeover.
Yeah. As long as you don't take over my grant writer, we're good.
Yeah, I don't think the grant writer, from our perspective, went in. It was a part timer, right?
What's that?
The part timer got in, not a full timer, right?
We're in Plainfield?
No, here.
You got me, to be honest.
I thought
with
it was
you.
a part timer they got. I could be wrong.
Well, but certainly not full time. I didn't even know we had a grant writer other than Mario.
Yeah, I thought they went
Mario
with a part-timer,
Tristani.
but I could be wrong.
Is it Tristani or Tristani?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce his name?
Whatever.
Yeah. He ain't listening. He don't care.
Yeah.
But
So you were.
go ahead.
Embellish a little bit. You had said, "Do I feel different because of all the things that we've done?" And I've got a list of page and a half of things that we've done, including grant writer. What Jordan and definitely Shannon have brought to the table. We've got about $13 million in grants. That's not anything to take lightly.
No,
it's a lot of money.
And what it does, like one of the projects that was accomplished was getting a SIF grant for $8 million for Interoil for cleanup. And we're about to apply for the other one, which is a brownfields cleanup grant for another $6 million, and that'll complete that entire project. We're looking forward to that. There's lots of other things that we do with the grants. The STEEP grants. We have a STEEP grant, which is a small town economic assistance grant. And what we've done with it so far is we've gotten money for the Lions Park upgrades. We've gotten money for matching what we had for taking down the old annex. And that now is applied to, we'll be putting up a pavilion for Farmers Market and the parking lot across the street. And the taxpayers pay $0 for that now because of their vote to move forward with that. There's lots of other things that we've done. Like I said, I got a list and a half here of all the accomplishments. So I felt like, yes, I've done enough to earn that. If the issue was I didn't do one thing right,
I was going to ask you that. You know, if is there anything in? Now this would be your third or fourth term.
Well, I've done way back in 05.
Right. But I'm
then
talking about
this
just
is
this.
So far, I'm in number 3.
You're in number 3
for the current.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do number 4.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some things I want to finish off.
So we know you got a lot of things. You got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
What is something maybe that didn't go well?
Well, we go back to the issue of we applied for another STEEP grant, and it was to continue on with the iPark. What we wanted to utilize the money for was we take $100,000 out of the fund balance.
Yep.
And the state of Connecticut would have given us $500,000 for free.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have accomplished a lot with that, because the the Lions Park was not only just, making some things happen in Lions Park, but it's also to be able to bring more people there, meaning we would have redone the parking lot, repaved it, and added 50 more spots. So when you have an event, now you have more parking, and it's brand new tar that'll last for many years to come.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. And people were confusing it. People were saying, well, because it was just before budget season, they said, well, we wanted to have the SRO. And again, this had nothing to do with the SRO. It has to asking for the public to approve $100,000 out of the fund balance so we can make a great project. The parking lot was number 1.
Mm-hmm.
The raised bandstand would be number 2. Lights would have been number 3. We already planned for bathrooms outside. So we would have had a great step forward into having more, I would say, economic development, because you have to look at it like that. You have like last night, we had music in the park, people coming all over. What we do now for music in the park is we have Ra-Ra's Ice Cream. We have Wicked Smoke come in. So we have, you're doing economic development through that process. Not only that, people will stop over and get gas in your town if they're coming from out of town. They'll go to other restaurants. All sorts of things happen when you have more events happening. So, to me, that's how I phrase it. It's really, you may look at it as, well, it's just a park. It's not just a park. It's all the things that people can do at the park. And on top of that, economic development. So that was the thing that kind of went wrong. I think that we could have,
what could you have done differently if in your heart of hearts, if you said, all right, well,
I think
I would have changed this. What would it be?
I think for that one, I think you just make sure that people understand exactly what it is you're going to do, what you're looking to express you want to have done during the meetings. I've learned that sometimes it's not good to try to. Would you like to come to a town meeting once a month or twice a month? Probably not.
All right.
So what I was trying to do was I was trying to say, okay, let's have the public informational meeting up front and then have the vote at the end, versus what we're doing now. I'll give you a great example of that is this month, I'd like to have a public informational meeting on September 10th, and it has to do with, this one has to do with the cell tower. Now, we brought up the issue with the cell tower before. It was labeled incorrectly, but this is something that we have a cell tower in the town of Plainfield at the Highway Department. We have a 20-year lease, which is about to run up. The company, Crown Castle, said, well, we heard you were talking to another company about, subbing out the lease. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to come in and negotiate with you for, what we're going to do for the next 20. So roughly we're getting $3,100, $3,200 a month. They're going to up it to $4,000.
Yeah.
So
I know cell companies pay pretty good for.
So the meeting on the 10th is going to be information only, just informational meeting. Then we'll schedule an actual vote, because anything that goes for sale of or lease of for our town,
right,
you have to have a vote. So I'll separate them out, give everybody a chance to talk. That's the 10th. The 24th for the town hall would be another one for. We'd like to be able to present to the public information about 2 companies who'd like to buy the early childhood center. And then if anybody wants to speak about saving it, because I know they're going to start talking about saving it, they can do that. There's 2 companies. I've asked both companies to give me the same information on the 24th and be there and give their presentation. It's almost exactly the same for both companies. They want to pay us $1.5 million for the property. They want to put in apartments, studios, and ones, so no impact to the schools.
Yeah.
So $1.5 million. And then you have to calculate the next piece of it, which is what's your revenue? every year, once it's built up and running, it's about $35,000 in revenue, and how many cars we can also tax at that time. So you're talking about a multitude of things. One, town of Plainfield is responsible at this point for that ECC building. We have to maintain it.
Right.
There's a roof that needs to be replaced. A boiler needs to be replaced. HVAC upgrades. So there's been talk, very minimal talk, about making it into a town hall.
Town hall, I heard that, yeah.
To which I would counter with, that's a lot of money to invest in all the things that have to get upgraded. And then
Wouldn't it be
build-outs.
cheaper just to build a town hall at that point?
Almost. And then you got to do build-outs of all the office areas. And then moving over, and what do you do with the town hall, the current town hall? I can tell you this. I'm very proud of what we've done with the current town hall. We have a whole new electrical system put in there. Okay, so it's all got more electric going in. We've done HVAC into the auditorium, HVAC into all the offices. We have obviously the new ramp in the front being done. We have a couple of new windows. We've got new staircase on one side. We've had upgrades left and right in that building. We have been putting a lot of money into it so we can keep it for many years to come.
Is there actually less? Would it cost less money to keep spending it on the current town hall than
Absolutely,
to go ahead and
we had
revamp another building?
You're right. An assessment of our building was done, and the assessment says, here's the things you got to fix. Well, that's what one of them was the ramp. And we had some water issues going down to the basement, so that's no longer a basement. It's no longer storage. So that has all been fixed. So it's very minimal input and upkeep to do it for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So I don't see the value to moving. People say, well, let's make the ECC building to a library. I don't know about you, but to make it into a library right now, you can't use the second and third floor. It's already been rated by the state of Connecticut library saying they can't do that. The bottom floor for a library, okay. Again, you got to put the renovations into the building. And you know how much a library costs to run annually?
I do not. Paul, do you know?
No.
Offhand, Killingly, we're about $500,000.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about your tax increases on $500,000 to keep it up and running. On top of fixing the building. So there's a lot to consider. I just want the public to say, here's what we want to do, or listen to the two companies and let them then, after the public informational meeting's done,
let them decide
let them decide by waiting a couple weeks and coming back with a vote. So those are the things I've learned. By the way, just one more to September. That was the 10th to 24th. September 17th at the high school. Public informational meeting on Costco. Costco company is coming in, and they're going to give a presentation.
Well, what do you say, oh God, Paul?
Costco. The closest one is Old Lime.
No. Well, it still will be.
Yeah, it's not Old Lyme, it's Niantic or East Lyme.
And it still will be. That's not Costco walking in the door and buying
No,
stuff.
It's a warehouse.
Oh, just a warehouse?
Yeah, Plainfield's like the warehouse capital of the world.
Did you not read the Hartford Business Journal?
No.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, it's not part of my...
Paul just shows up and goes, ha, 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 ha. He's like Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
You know, he just...
Do you read the Hartford Business Journal?
No, but I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Well, does he talk to him?
There's an article. That
No,
just came
it
out.
had nothing to do with him. Matter of fact, I was calling him
Yeah.
before he even mentioned anything to me, and he said, no, we can't talk about
Now we
this.
can't.
Oh.
No, we can't.
Right, but I'm just saying. So
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and just I'll go quickly through that. What happens in the background is, your town leaders will sit there and talk about, with a company. I'll use Uline and Costco as examples. Many years ago, maybe 3 now, Uline came to us. We had a meeting scheduled in the office, and we sat down and said, okay, 3 reps came from Uline from Wisconsin, and then it was our police chief, fire chief for the village, our fire marshal, our building inspectors, our planner, and myself. And we sat down and had a great meeting, and they were basically interviewing each other. So it was a very good feel out of that. Matter of fact, Dimitri came yesterday. We talked about that very meeting. And one of the things that I think that really helped to sell them on the fact of, hey, we're a great people, we're a great town, is the fact of what we were doing to offer them to help out savings-wise. We at the time had one of our building inspectors who was retiring. I asked him prior, hey, look, is it okay if we talk about this? Because I'd like to know if he was the same building inspector that went to Amazon and inspected on a regular basis, saved Amazon tons of money because this project done quicker. Normally you wait for your building inspector to go and check things out on a weekly, maybe monthly basis. This guy was there almost every day. So it saved them money. That's why we got a CO, which why we were getting partial taxes from Amazon, $440,000 a year. Same exact offer was made to Uline. If we get a building inspector who can be there on a regular basis, would that help you guys? Absolutely. Save them time and money. So that's one of the things you sit down with and you talk about. Now we'll go on to Costco. We've had
By the way, Maddie Garner puts in there, Mike's a fan of Costco.
Yeah.
Which I am.
Yeah.
So is she, by the way. So, whatever. Can I just bop a couple of comments?
Sure.
Because this goes back to the ECC building, I believe.
Yes.
Melissa Furman says the top floors aren't engineered for the stacks as a library. It was designed to be a school.
Correct.
And then she asks, where's Paul Sweet? Well, Melissa, I would then invite you to take a look at the ticker that's running around on the bottom of the screen and also the description of this video. Mr. Sweet declined. So,
yep.
He was invited. So anyway.
Costco. So Costco.
I'm a fan.
A couple of meetings that we had been in part of, and they explained what the project was and asked point blank, what do you think about it? You're in favor or whatever. I got to tell you, from the very first meeting, it was a lot of things are going to be happening in Canterbury. A lot of things that would also put me in harm's way of people calling up and saying, there's a lot of trucks coming through Plainfield, and you're getting no tax revenue out of it. But believe me, they listened to what I had to say because there were multiple issues. I could tell you some of the issues that I had was the volume of trucks that would be coming in. Initially, there was the three major issues for me. One, they said they were going to have a guard shack that would stop trucks from coming in at like 3:30 in the afternoon. To me, a lot of truck traffic comes through in the evening and night. So I said immediately, we can't think about going forward with that type of a plan because there's no place to stage these trucks. First, they said, well, there's that truck stop off the highway. I said, whoa, that's full. It's always full. So you can't think that that's going to cover that volume of trucks. I can tell you what they've done. They're a very good partner to work with because they came back with a secondary plan that said, we heard what you said. We're going to have the shack there, but it's not going to close anybody off. We're actually going to build a pad which will house up to 1,250 tractor-trailer trucks. So you don't have to worry about staging anywhere around town.
Wow.
So they listened, and I thought that was a very good, interaction we have with the company. Second issue for me is something that we've worked out with Canterbury, and that has to do with the fact that if Costco is thinking about building their first building in Canterbury and then doing the Plainfield one, we've already worked something out where we don't worry about taxes. We'll share tax revenue.
Yeah. And
then we'll talk about the, if it comes in later on, it comes in later on, which we know that they've changed their mind. They're going to do both. So we're good with that. And the third one, I think, is the other factor, which I'd like them to consider and work on. I think they are. We have, if you've been to McDonald's at any time of day over there, you can see that there's truck traffic and vehicle traffic stacked around that corner going around McDonald's.
Yes.
I'm thinking that they could help us out by working on Old Norwich Road and widening the road. That way it's no longer one way. Now it's two-way.
Two-way, yeah.
And then you can have the stoplight as you enter onto Route 12. But if you're going in or out, you're coming right off the exit and you're going right onto that Old Norwich
And that light
Road.
is ridiculous on Old Norwich Road.
Yeah.
It's like it takes forever to turn.
Yep.
And then when it does turn, you get 4 seconds.
Yeah.
To go ahead and actually get onto the other street.
So I'm sure that they'll have the state DOT work on that.
Is that a state road?
That is, well, it's
not Old Norwich Road, but
Lathrop area.
Yeah,
right in that beginning.
Okay.
Yep. So those are things that we've talked about, and I really appreciate the fact we're able to talk about and work things out. So I think it's a good company. They've listened to me just like the other company. Uline, we're working back and forth.
They want to play ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying. By the way, just for anybody I've heard the complaints recently. They put a water line, gas line up on 14A going up to Uline, and it looks like it's a patchwork quilt of pavement that they put there. That will be fixed. I want people to know that'll be fixed. I think it's actually Eversource is going to be doing the fix. And it'll be in the spring. There's one or two more small things they got to fix going across the road. And I'm going to work on that this morning for Dimitri, for power and data power going across the road underneath. And I'll work with the state DOT to get that done. And that way we'll fix that. So these companies listen. I got one small story about Uline real quick. They, like Amazon, big companies. Amazon's a little different. You don't need to get a tax break at all. But I asked Uline, I said, why didn't you actually ask the state of Connecticut for a tax break or the town? And it was very simple, and it was a great answer. We are part of the community. Why do we want to come in and upset people because we get a tax break? We actually don't need one. And that's true. So they've already worked with the town of Plainfield. They've given donations already. Great company.
Well, I need a tax break. So if they want to go ahead, and I will take the benefit, I'm sure Paul will too.
Yeah.
Paul will be first in line.
Okay. I'll do your taxes for you.
Paul's in, no, you don't want to do that. Paul, comments.
Well,
Just jump right in there, Paul.
no, it's amazing how Plainfield has become the warehouse capital of this part of the state. I mean,
Maybe even Connecticut altogether.
Yeah, they started off with what, Lowe's, right?
Lowe's was first.
Lowe's came in, they did all the investigation, how it was.
Well, that was an enterprise zone project, and it went
Yeah.
through the state of Connecticut, I think DECD for that. The only thing I didn't agree with on that project was the town of Plainfield picked up the bill for the water sewer line that went down.
Yeah.
I think it should have actually been a three-party pay into that, whether it be the state DECD, whether it be Lowe's and the town. But the town took off the entire project, so we had to bond that whole thing out.
Yeah. It's amazing to me because Lowe's started, then you got Amazon who came in, but now you got other people considering warehouses. It's like, hey, if Amazon's going there, why are we going there? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
Where they're there, so why don't we go there? I mean, you probably got a couple more coming down the road that you don't even know about.
No, I think that's about it. I think there's the issue is really, and the question was asked from the Hartford Business Journal. They asked a question which I thought was a great question. How much more land do you have?
Oh, there you go.
So it's limited. It also goes by a couple things. I mean, your town probably has a POCD, Plan of Conservation Development. It's a general map of where you would have housing, where you would like to have industry and commercial and things like that. POCD is your driver. It then gives you something that the Planning and Zoning Board can then utilize to say, okay, we don't want a warehouse up here because we anticipated this to be all housing because of where it's located. So that does help to have that. So we are kind of running out of room. Otherwise, you could do something like, I don't know, smart technology, the waste to energy plant.
So now that's funny that you bring that up, but that was because that's one of the two things that I wanted to bring up.
Sure.
So I do want to make another announcement. We're not playing any advertisements at all in this interview today, and this is an interview. This is not an endorsement of Mr. Cunningham or any candidate whatsoever. I've got to be very, very clear of that because then you get people coming back going, well, you did this and you did this. And it's like, shut your mouth. I didn't do any of that. So, and I have no problem saying shut your mouth. So that's Paul. And I love Paul. So, I mean, Paul McMahon.
You got it. Sidekick.
Do you have any?
Is Mikey.
Oh.
I tell you what, Paul, if you were to be, while we're talking, if you read through those accomplishments, you might come up with a question or two.
Paul's all about preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wanted to talk a little bit about smart technology and that trash plant.
Well, trash plant.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things. Number one, I watched and I just kind of fell upon it online. I didn't even know it was happening, and I saw this live broadcast from Town Hall.
Yes.
In Plainfield, and it was like controlled violence, maybe. But anyway, what had happened is
passionate.
It's passionate. Okay, well, that's They're talking about, the possibility of putting a trash burning plant, which will convert it into energy. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. The residents were very passionate that showed up and saying no trash plant, no trash plant. Matter of fact, there were signs all over town, no trash plant,
Still
no
are.
trash plant.
Yep.
Isn't this a state of Connecticut thing?
When you're, by the way, the Connecticut Siting Council has governance over two issues, major issues. One, any cell tower that is located in the state of Connecticut, they have governance over that. They can say yay or nay to that, and they can also make adjustments to any of those. If someone says they want to put more things on that cell tower, they have to go through Siting Council. That's number one. Number
Right.
two, and more importantly, would be the issue of anything that creates more than 1 megawatt of power. So I can give an example before we jump into the waste to energy plant.
Okay.
We have a second item in the town of Plainfield which just got proposed. It is for a 4 megawatt photocell. What do you call them? Oh, the energies you put on top of your house there, the
Solar panels?
It's a field that'll create 4 megawatts. Because it's 4 megawatts, requires to go through the Siting Council. I personally don't see a major issue with any of those. I just want to make sure that they're regulated and that the Siting Council verifies everything's okay.
Mhm.
So that's one. But this is much different. This is located in the town of Plainfield on Hopkins Hill. It's the O&G Rawson property, and this group that comes in with it is called Smart Technology. They had another type of plant, not like this. They had another plant that they were in charge of, I think it's in Middletown, Portland area, that had an accident which was bad.
That's the one, the gas pool.
Yep. So this company, though, has gone to the lengths of looking all over the world to try to find a similar. There is one in, I think it's Finland. There is another one which I believe just started up in Florida. So what the issues are with this particular plant is the location. In my mind, is location. They've decided to put that in the middle of a huge, I think it's 520 acres of what's right now is a gravel operation. That is in somewhat of a valley. The valley has an aquifer located within it. If at any time there's a problem with the aquifer, you now have destroyed the water resource for not only the 470 houses immediately around it, but could possibly plume further. So that's one of my big issues. The other one is the fact of this gasification plant is going to be bringing in about 130 minimum trucks a day, 45 off of Black Hill, and the remainder off the highway onto Route 12 into the plant.
So just a constant supply of traffic.
Absolutely.
Full of trash.
Trash. Now the trash goes on a conveyor belt system basically, and then takes off on a positive pick. It picks off the organics, puts the organics to the side, which goes into an anaerobic digester to create gas. How it's being bottled or piped out is another safety issue.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other safety issues that I have in concerns is will it's a gasification, meaning it's constant, like an airflow that continues breaking down the particles to the point where it's now very superfine and goes to an ash. Is there PFAS going through the air? And you can never, ever recover from that. Is there an issue with the ash itself being then put onto a truck, put a cover over it, driven, I don't know, maybe a half a mile to the rails, which you have on site, goes into a building, gets put into a car, a rail car. The vehicle then comes out, gets washed off, and goes back. Well, what happened between the time it got out of the hopper with a cover over it? Could it have any chance of having some of the ash blow? So there's the chemicals there. What about the water that's coming out of you're washing off the vehicle with? Where's that going? How's that cleaned? There's so many issues that are concerns. We're fighting this in simple terms. We have already put together a intervenor status. We are currently now a intervenor for this project. There's about, I think, 6 actual parts to the application. First one's air quality, and that's the one we're fighting right off the bat. We've had public meetings. We're working with a couple of different groups. It's Connecticut Coalition for Environmental Fairness. It's basically that group for justice, and then another subgroup of theirs, as well as Last Green Valley is going to write a letter. Northeast Council of Governments is going to write a letter as well. We've got a bunch of different groups. We have one attorney already. We have we're looking for the environmental scientists that'll help us out, possibly a second attorney. We're looking to do everything we can to try to rally and understand what's going on, and also stop it. So that's right. My flyer is talking about how that's going on. We have people coming in on a daily basis signing that petition. We already had enough signatures, but it doesn't hurt to have a lot more.
Sure.
So
I think it's safe to say that you are against that project.
that would be correct.
Okay.
They call that an incinerator?
Well, it's gasification in simplest terms. People understand what that is. It's incineration, but it's in a higher format.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would just, compare it because we have something coming this way, similar thing, and they're saying it's not an incinerator. It's different than the one in Plainfield. So
Well,
I don't know.
Plainfield has a gasification already, and that's it.
I know, but
You're right.
this one's not considered to be a incinerator. It's not the same type of
Then
plant.
what is it considered to be?
I'm not quite sure because I don't know.
Campfire?
No, it's not classified as incinerator. Incinerators in a lot of countries illegal.
Call it what you will. Think about it as the state of Connecticut. How many of these types of burning plants do we have?
And you kind of wonder what's going on.
Five. Three
with
of
the
them on
state
the
of Connecticut.
side of the state.
Yeah, why aren't they in Hartford? Why aren't they in Glastonbury? Why aren't they in Simsbury? It seems like let's take our junk and throw it to the east.
Well, here's let me back up.
I think that's sour grapes' fault.
Yeah, let me back it up a little bit. 50 years ago,
Yeah.
the state of Connecticut knew there would be a problem with where you get rid of all this stuff. You can't keep going to a landfill,
Yeah.
laying down your stuff, capping it, laying down some
That's-
stuff, cap. You can't do that.
Drive 91.
I worked right across the street from that site, right on exit 33. I worked right there.
Yeah.
I saw that thing continue to grow and grow. That is a problem. And the state of Connecticut blew it. They had all this time to figure out what they can do with it instead of shipping it out to Ohio and Pennsylvania at a cost. We need to do better. So we didn't do that.
And what is that?
It could have been multiple ways to figure out, is there a better way to burn? Is there a better way to compost? But whatever it might have been. I mean, there are some factors right now for the anaerobics. So you can take your organic materials and do some composting.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to do that. The rest of it, I'm not a scientist, but there should have been somebody working on it for a long time. Yep.
You have any more comments about that? Because we do have something coming our way. They're
We
not
do have
calling
something
it.
coming away, so there's a lot of questions that got to be answered.
It sounds like they want to go ahead and do the same thing. So this company wants to come in and give a speech. They want Deep to come in, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't exactly know what else they're going to do, but obviously they don't need any kind of. They have to go to the siting council, but
So they're creating energy.
right. Yes. But they don't. They're privately owned. They can go anywhere they want.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Paul. This is not a state thing, is it? It's not a state
No.
mandated thing.
They got to
Okay.
go to the state, but it's not a state.
Yeah, that's
Right.
how this all works. It has to all go through siting council.
They want to have the town's blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Is what they want.
What's the trade-off?
I don't know.
See,
I don't
that's the
know.
other thing.
Mill rate.
They're also required to sit down with the town and say, okay, here's what we would give you in return. I don't want to have that conversation. Honestly, I don't want to, because that means, they sat with us. Obviously, they would like to consider it.
Well, I guess I think what the rumor is that there's a substantial decrease in the town's mill rate,
Right.
to the tune of what, 4 mills?
Yeah, something like that.
From this plant, and even if it goes in, it's still a long way down the road.
Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight.
But there's going to be no referendum, because we even had there was even a meeting at town hall where there was a couple saying, well, when's the referendum going to be? And it's like
There are no referendums.
there's not going to be
No.
any referendum.
No.
There'll be a town meeting where you can
I can tell you this.
talk about it, but
With this no trash plant, there will be a town referendum for something else.
what's that?
Well, if we're going to fight these plants, we need money for the attorneys, and I'm going to say minimum $250,000. Could be $500,000. It could go on for years, so it could go more than that. But I want to have that conversation soon once we get to the next level to say to the public, okay, right now we can handle the prep work for it, but when it comes time for really fighting it in court or fighting with our attorneys to the citing council, there could be some serious numbers, and we want to make sure you're okay with that. Okay. But I can tell you now, we had the second go around for our referendum for budget. We included a non-binding advisory question to the public, and it was, do you want the plant, yes or no? Are you in favor of it, and or not? It was 125 yes and 1,147 no. So 10 to 1. So
yeah, it was overwhelming. I remember watching. It was good TV, to be honest with you, because people were mad. They were screaming.
That meeting was. I would have to say this. Look, I know that people are passionate. Yeah. If we ever have something like that in the future, I would just ask one thing: allow the presentation to occur, and then get up to the microphone and just
speak your piece.
Politely say, "Don't want it. No thanks." Doesn't make it look good on a video of obscenities.
No.
I don't want no plant here. I kind of thought it would.
We may hear the same thing whenever our meeting takes place.
Oh, I'm sure. There's regardless of what the project is, good, bad, or indifferent, there's always somebody that's going to say, no, I don't want it here. I don't want it in my town.
Yeah.
Certainly don't want it in my backyard.
You name the different warehouses. People say that as well. They don't want it in their backyard.
Yeah. We had data centers that make no noise, and people were saying they make too much noise. And where do you get that information from?
As a matter of fact, my visit from Dimitri yesterday from Uline was, hate to break you bad news, but the owner was here, looked at the site, and she wants more trees and more shrubs and more things to make it look, aesthetically appealing.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say she wants more cowbell.
More cowbell.
I really honestly thought you were going to say that. So let's get into something it's even more serious.
Sure.
And this quite possibly could have been the catalyst for the primary that's going to be happening on September 9th. So the endorsed candidates for the Republican side of things is Paul Sweet, who switched parties to and won the endorsement, and Michael Supernaut, who used to be the chief of police in the town. So they're running together against Kevin and Art Gagnon, which is going to be primaried on the 9th.
Correct. And
early voting has started now.
Yes.
And early voting in Grizzle too, in other states, in other towns. What I understand, and hopefully you can fill me in on this, is that the Plainfield police, now we don't have this in so we can't even speak to it, in town. We don't have a town police department. I think we have the Columbiettes or something like that, that's, if we get invaded, we're screwed. But we don't have a police department. And from what I understand, there was a vote of no confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to that?
Well, actually, you should be speaking to the Plainfield Police Union for that one.
Okay. Take it. This is your platform to go ahead and say what you want to say. But I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
But I want people to hear your opinion.
Sure.
On this subject. So.
Yeah. I think some of that revolves around the payroll issues we've been having. You can go from paper, you can go from whatever system they were working with before, but when you merge into a new system, you're always going to find some hiccups.
Of course.
Yeah, look at Ascend Bank. I
Yep.
mean, they're moving over. So
I would say this from what was going on. My background, just so you know, I was 30 years into IT, but those 30 years into IT are mostly programming and program management. As a programmer, you would sit down with me and talk about what you'd like to have on your payroll, and I would sit there and write down the code for it. And so then we would do some testing with some data and verify. And that's great. The only problem that we have with this type of a system would be whatever you give me for data for names and information for how much they're making hourly and all that. It's that's the data that I have to work with when it goes through my system. So if I don't get good data, you're going to get something incorrect in your paycheck. So that's what had been happening. We don't know if you're working 82 hours and you're working 79. We don't know. It's whatever's on that system that pops it in. So unfortunately, there were some issues where it wasn't being given to us correctly, even to the point where the chief had written up, we're not going to fix all these little issues, with an email saying we're not going to fix these little issues, just going to let them go. Well, that caused grievances right off the bat. And I can see why. We worked to try to get those things set. We sat down at a meeting, try to work out those issues, make sure there was a test run of it with 3 people, and then a full run. And we believe we've got everything resolved until we had a little issue with ADP. ADP, by the way, the contract starts for union contracts will start July 1. In the new contract, it was also stated that on July 1, their road duty would go from this level to that level. ADP forgot to put it in.
Oh boy.
They admitted it. They gave us an email saying, we're very, very sorry, but we forgot to put that in. And they fixed it. Unfortunately, we got grievances, even though they knew that's what the issue was. So, we've been trying to work to make these issues. As a matter of fact, we had another meeting just recently with the police administrative assistant and chief, and working out some issues with how do we then make it so that it's more transparent to the person putting the stuff in. So we gave them access to ADP, and we're working through those issues. It doesn't mean that, by the way, it's been working. We don't see any other issues. Everything's been resolved for all those grievances. So, the vote of no confidence for myself or Kelly Vachon, I don't really understand all of that. That's really for a question for them. I got to tell you that, first of all, let me back this up a second. I appreciate every single department we have. I think all of the things we have in the town of Plainfield are needed and are to be respectful. I think that everybody does a great job. That goes from sewer department to highway to police to rec to our town hall employees. I gotta really take hats off to our payroll department, our finance department. Kelly Vachon having to deal with all of this doesn't need it in the paper stating that there were issues from previous. That's past. You don't have to bring that stuff up again. What she's gone through is a lot of heartache, mental stress. I think that she's done a fantastic job and pulled us up out of some issues in the past. Just to give you an idea what Kelly does for us. Remember I talked about before how our fund balance has been growing tremendously. We were up to 26%. If it wasn't for Kelly Vachon, our departments not spending what they had left over, but Kelly Vachon putting stuff into interest-bearing accounts, getting us more money, that is the way to go. So she has done a great service to the town of Plainfield, and I think should be applauded for that. All of these employees do a great job. We need to work together. Vote of no confidence, that you'd have to ask them about that, but I'm trying. I applaud the police, I applaud the highway, everybody. They all do great jobs. It's just sometimes, a sit-down talk versus anything else might help out. So.
Okay. Question on the board. Matt asks, Kevin, any movement on the audit?
Can we verify, Matt, which audit you're talking about? Because we do have 2 going on right now. Matt, we have an annual audit, which we do every year. And you're talking about the forensic audit. I think that's what he's talking about. Can you verify?
If you want to speak to both.
Sure. We have had some concerns Give me does he give you his last name at all, his initial?
It's Pendleton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have two. One is the annual audit, which we've been late with the last few years, and that's because of turnover at the education system has a new finance manager.
Right.
So she's coming on board. She's starting to catch up. So we're hoping that will be done before end of year. It looks like we're on track for that. The other one is the forensic audit. Because of the issues with payroll, we've been called out on what's wrong with the payroll. So we offered to do a forensic audit. So that has been, we had 11 companies apply for be able to do a forensic audit on payroll. And by the way, it's forensic audit on payroll for the
He just
police.
said forensic.
Yeah, for the police. So that'll bring us up to date. On Monday the 8th, the Board of Selectmen will vote on one of those 11, and they'll be hired immediately to start working right away. So we're hoping that they can do a quick turnaround. Up to 120 days is what's probably going to happen. So anything before that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But a forensic audit is important because you want to know what happened to the payroll. How did it get from paper to now ADP? Were there issues where we didn't get the correct information in the past? We want to make sure that all those things are solved and information is given to the public. And by the way, the contract that I gave and signed with the police union, my personal opinion, because obviously I signed it, is I thought it was a very healthy contract. It gave the police upwards of 10% increases on some of those employees. And also pension. Really helped out in their pension quite a bit. So I thought it was a very good contract for them. With that, I asked for one thing in return. ADP. All I want is accountability. Every other department in the town of Plainfield has been using ADP for 3.5, 4 years now. That's the only one that didn't, and they go right along with dispatchers, but it should be everybody's accountability. So there's no questions, no issues. So that's why I had it in the contract.
Do they feel that they're being accountable? And no need to change?
Well, as far as ADP,
yeah,
I think it's fine now.
Okay. Paul, do you have any questions before we wrap things up here with Kevin Cunningham?
Well, I think coming from an IT background myself, I know when you get these new systems coming in, you're buying them off the shelf.
Yeah.
And you're getting what's in the application. The special needs that have to go up, you got to make the modifications. So a lot of times that's not easy. And I go back to the Send Bank, the same thing. I think the Send Bank asked for a lot of information from people. They sent out time after time, giving their information. I think a lot of people fail to do that.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably what the problem is. The same thing that you had. You didn't get the information. They crap in, crap out.
Garbage in, garbage out was ours. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the phrase. It's basically, and by the way, when a contract comes up with all these little nuances, now that you have to go back to the programming staff to say, hey, can you fix these and do that?
Right.
It takes a little while. So I think we're doing okay with it now. I'm hoping that there's an understanding not only with the police force, with our finance department, but also with the residents. We're trying to do the best thing for accountability. Make sure that we are working together. You had other things you were going to talk about? Town management system? Because that was the other biggie.
I was going to ask you if there's something else that you wanted to bring up,
sure,
as a final topic.
Yeah, I mean, I can be generic. The thing about Paul's mentioned this not only on the other debate
up on WINY.
Yeah. He also did this in the Norwich Bulletin. He also did it with the RTC. The numbers keep changing. He's talking about he's coming back because of his fiscal background and his wanting to make sure that we're not overspending out of the fund balance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the other show, he mentioned a number of 3 million plus. To the RTC, he mentioned 2.8. To the Norwich Bulletin, it was 2.4. I'm just going to say this, and I don't understand where you're coming up with numbers like that. It's just ridiculous. We took $1.2 million out of the fund balance. 100 other towns around us do that because they don't want their taxpayers to get clobbered. They do that. We were very healthy in our fund balance. We did that. We had a plan, by the way. We know that $685,000 is going to be coming from Uline, and then another $600,000 from Amazon.
So you're talking about replacement.
Yeah, so we're offsetting those numbers in the next coming year, and I don't plan on doing it again. So I had a conversation with our bonding agent. I had a conversation with our audit agent, making sure that we were all set to do this. And they said, you're doing the right thing, no problem. One-time shot is no problem at all. So we have that covered. There's no, I'm spending to the hilt. It's not happening like that. We don't do that.
How many times has Grizzle done that? I know one time they took $250,000 when the school check was in.
Yeah.
There's been 2 or 3 times in the last decade.
Something a couple of years ago, right? Not
Yeah,
this bad,
yeah.
before.
There's times where you take money out of your fund balance. One is a situation like this. Two.
Well, it only can get to a certain percentage, correct?
Well, every town's a little different with what you keep in their fund balance. Our board of finance has it so you can't go below 12. They don't have a ceiling, but you can't go below 12.
Isn't that what it is here too? Is it 12?
Yeah. So you take money out for situations like that because you don't want to hurt the taxpayer.
Yeah.
But I have a plan, so I knew that I can fix that the following year. Number 2, that you take it out for emergency situation. Your boiler breaks. You got to go out and get money. Number 3, you would take it out because you have a bond coming up. And that bond is something that you would say, okay, it's just like a mortgage, but I don't want to pay as much. You pay more into your down payment for your mortgage. So that's the same thing.
Yeah.
And the 4th thing would be you're talking about capital improvements, capital purchases. That's what you take your money out for. I just don't understand where someone else is coming up with these numbers because they keep changing on the daily basis, and they're not true. I mean, he would say things like, he's run 6 charter revisions. No, he hasn't. He ran 1. That's embellishment on your accomplishments. I don't have to do that. I think you read back accomplishments so far.
Yeah.
I don't have to embellish on them at all. They are factual. They're numbers. If you ask me, Kevin, can you verify this stuff? I can show you the numbers to verify where I got it from. So I'm here for the public. I'm a servant of the public. I want to continue doing that. I think that if anybody has any questions, they know they can come see me on a Friday, a Saturday. I'm always there. I always work. I do the best I can for the town of Plainfield. I would like to continue doing that.
Any closing comments here, Paul?
No, well, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. So the 9th
Yes.
is the primary with you and Paul Sweet.
Yep.
Are all in the Selectmen? Are they also primarying?
Yes,
well?
they're both.
Okay, so Art Gagney and Michael Supernaut.
Correct.
It's a tag team match.
6 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Moose Up Firehouse for those people who normally vote in Moose Up. For those people who normally vote at the town hall, because the ramp is being still worked on, you will have to go over to the Plainfield Senior Center.
Okay. All right. Very, very good. So once again, we did invite Paul Sweet, and he declined our invitation today. So depending on, so this is primary season.
Mm-hmm.
So after the primaries are done, and we have a better idea, of who is going to be going up against who, then again we'll do another round, of this right here.
Okay.
I basically only do them with first selectman, the first selectman type. But after this, because Griswold has a primary right now with Martin McKinney and Rich Canova for a selectman position. So we'll see what happens, at the end of this one. Paul, thanks for coming on in. All right.
Thank you, sir.
And Kevin, thank you very much. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to everybody soon. So thank you for joining us, everybody. And we will see you again Monday right here on SNSN. Monday, we're going to have CIRAC come in, which is an organization, I guess you could they're kind of like Grizzle Pride. And it's 988 Day because it's Suicide Prevention Month.
Yep.
So they're going to be in on Monday. And then we're going to have on Tuesday, we're going to have Lee Walter, the general manager of the Sea Unicorns. He may or may not have an announcement. So we'll wait and see. Because as of right now, they've played their last game at Dodd Stadium of
this year.
Period.
Period. Okay.
We don't know. So we'll see what Lee Walter has to say